even though they are a map up, even though they did take a pretty decent victory on Vertigo. I think Train's going to be a bit too much of a challenge, but we have seen some good moments from these guys, so I don't want to count them out too quickly. Let's find out whether or not they can pull this one out of the hat as they go to the pistol round. Movistar on the T-side start. The utility's in on Max and Surreal. Max has also got a defuse kit. Surreal's already ready for Movistar to make their way in from the brown halls. Very fast utility coming out, flashes over, nades up, and they make their way out of upper, and Surreal sees them. Going to re-smoke down, buy himself a bit of cover, but he's going to be a little bit too late. Still gets Mopos through the smoke. Bomb plant can get secured, but Crucial's there to back him up, taking out low the forward player. Now the backline defensive as they get the bomb plant and secure a 4 versus 3 retake.
Estor already given his position away from the back oil, and the CT should be able to clean up the pieces, especially with the man advantage, the kit, and a little bit of utility to work with. Max going to be able to find the first. Alex trying to tap away with the P250, but back into a 2 versus 3.
Now Alex taking out Max. Thomas gets down Alex for a trade, and it's all left to steal. Molotov on the site, smoke down immediately. Well played from Surreal. On with the defuse kit, not wasting any time. He's completely out of time. Good shots from Steel gets one, but Crucial's there for the trade, and Surreal is protected in his defuse motivation. So it's all Endpoint with the pistol. A very confident start from the CTs, but it did get hairy at certain times.
Yeah, it certainly did. It comes down to the opening information. We saw a great start, at least look to come out for the Riders. They go fast into the B bomb site, and for Endpoint, we saw an over-rotate of 2 players in through Collins, so they really had 3 players out at B by the time contact was made, which was a really strong advantage for them to work with. Now, with that bomb plan going down, it's not a full investment, Jay, but it is a half buy up the back with some pistols.
Raids up against Mighty Max, and Alex already combines with Mopos to shut down those 2 first picks. They do bird 1 player back for the CT forces, but those pistols have already started things off well, and they're going to continue to make their way in. Crucial finally shutting out Mopos, dropping that bomb, looking for the second player. Couldn't quite line up the damage and 100% confidence. Eastor, meanwhile, it's a flick back against him. So that's all 1-to-1 now. Robin's going to go falling, and now it's all left alone against Surreal. The burst up from the M4 barely gets the frag. And even though it was a pretty big pistol round, that's a lot of damage that Endpoint have to now suck up.
That is such a big round. That's not even a complete force buy. An Endpoint, they're going to be forced on to not the greatest of buys, whereas for the Riders, it is pretty much full utility up for every player, AKs across the board, and it's 3 SMGs from Endpoint. So what that tells me is I'd like to see them looking for some information. Try and take some gunfights up close and personal, because if you take the long-range engagements, you just won't win it out with the MP9s.
Crucial with the kill onto Laurel, takes him down. Mopos there with a spray transfer, but Alex is the man that gets the kill in the end. And it's a 2-for-1 trade, favour of course to the Movistar Riders. Thomas in the midst of that smoke with the SMG, going to evade that smoke by the skin of his teeth, but unable to do anything with his position. Alex will take him down. Max and Surreal, last 2 players standing for the CT defense. And the flashes over from Alex will try and suppress them for the moment. Taps up from Eastor, trying to see if they can spray through. Surreal and Mighty Max do get 2 picks for 2 versus 2 and 1 left standing on 1 HP for Surreal. Can't make it happen. Alex with his 3K, and Movistar Riders will try back on the rifles.
And that was a little bit awkward there for Estor, but look, a good cleanup coming out for the Riders, and it comes down to obviously having a massive weaponry advantage. Only 2 M4s on the playing field for Endpoint in that last round, and the fact is those MP9s just not doing too much damage, but the force buy has to come back, otherwise it's double eco status. 2 scouts, actually. It's probably one of the only maps that we see double scouts on a force buy eco kind of round. Let's see how much damage they're able to do with it. Still keeping 4 players over at A. Quick rotate as well through the com player. Surreal. Tell you what, if he's able to find a nice deagle kill, this could be a good opening.
Scout out. And 2 players here for the Endpoint side. A very heavy sort of investment. Not quite the economical advantage that Endpoint would like to be at this stage. The AKs, the MAC-10s, all that regular jazz coming in from the Movistar Riders side. Surreal gets aggressive. And and catches off Lowell. A good flick to the head and a great start. The aggression might now start to tunnel in on it here. Robin's out towards the Olaf spot and he's ready to receive the Movistar Riders side. If he positions himself correctly, this could be a big sort of opportunity for the Endpoint side to make this force buy work. They found that first headshot, they found that first pick, and now they may find a little bit more out of this one. Blind shots from Surreal don't quite connect. Mopos and Steel will take some damage. In there they find one. Crucial gets a headshot and Surreal turns onto the bomb plant to boost up his teammate. Crucial gets another kill and Alex is left alone. Bomb out in the open. He's in a 1-on-4. He should not be bound for this world, and indeed he's not. Thomas will close it out, and Endpoint only one casualty sustained on the force buy.
That's an incredible round, and I'll tell you what, I'm looking at first at in terms of importance, not maybe in terms of how the round was won, but in terms of importance for map 1 and map 2, that is the most important round that Endpoint have been able to win so far in this series. They're now up 3-1. The economy's in shatters. This is their opportunity to really start to grind out on the CT side. And what a beautiful round to win as well. And look at the buy that's forced Movistar Riders on. It's just a light eco, some upgrades of pistols. Flashbang does come out to at least try and get some peaks, but it's the pop dog control that's already been established. And so far they are just raining down damage. No one goes down for the Endpoint side. And 4-1 on their opponent's map pick. They're off to a flyer, Jay.
Oh, absolutely. You know, like this is such a confident start, and they needed something like this to carry on the momentum from that last map. And on their CT side as well, which obviously is traditionally where teams tend to do their best, and certainly Endpoint as well. You know, I have to say, if there's one side I do not favour them on, it's the CT side. Seen some shocking stuff coming out from Endpoint in the past, so the AK is coming up here for the CT. It's a bit of a bonus, and obviously with the buys up, they're still got the scouts in for Max and Crucial. I guess they're going to get the value out of the weapons. They'll have enough money for a buy in the next round if they lose this one, so, you know, all the bonus here. Surreal gets that first kill on Alex, and again, a very fast player from Movistar Riders, trying to pull the same tricks that they did over on Vertigo. We get a 4 versus 4 retake, try and push them back even further, and Mopos gains the man advantage on the quick forward face.
He's so aggressive, and he's just finding just really easy picks at the moment. And re-smoking off Con just to try and force any of the rotates out. Mopos has found his 4th kill of the round, on for his ace at this point. And the aggression has just been so perfect for the Riders. And look, they make a lot of noise, and they force the rotates out to the B bomb site for the CTs. But Mopos, he pretty much wins that round all by himself.
AK is out for the Movistar side, going to put a lot of utility out against them here. Obviously, Endpoint back with their force back, and I guess you could say it's for full buy instead. Buying down to not a lot though, so, you know, whichever way you define it. Oh, that nade from Robin, not quite landing perfectly. It was a good toss though. If you timed that a bit better, then that would have done a ton of damage to more than just Mopos in this case. Staying up towards the brown halls though, looking like they're going to commit towards the B-bomb site execution. That second nade is a bit more, and Surreal now going to smoke them out. Crucial gets that pick with the AWP, spotting a second and tapping him down. He's tall, looking with Surreal in the gaps in the train. 6 HPs left for him. Crucial falls to steal, and the plant has secured the 3-on-3 once again.
Good utility usage so far coming out from Endpoint. Unfortunately, that molly just not spreading quite far enough onto the player out through default. And the retake's coming in. 3 versus 3. Thomas is going to be able to line up one. Can find a second kill as well. And it's all down to the in-game leader. Still on for the 1 versus 3 at this point. And I'm pretty sure he's given his position away. Definitely would have been seen now. And it's going to be Mighty Axe to finish off the kill and get the defuse through. Now, I'll tell you what. Even though it was put into a 3 versus 3 in a bomb plant scenario, what is going on there from the Riders? There's such a deep smoke going out from back yellow. There is no ramp smoke and no con smoke, and it just seems like it's easy pickings for Endpoint. I just don't get that.
I think Movistar realised something's wrong as well, so just to take a moment to recap that round especially, because like that probably may be one of the bigger failings, I feel like, of the Movistar side, and the Movistar execution could look to be a bit more defined. And I think, again, just to sort of like rerun that round sort of thing, look, this is the mistakes that we made. Let's try not to make those again, because they'll be up for many more B-side executions over the course of this half. But, you know, if you want to start, you know, bringing the fight to Endpoint, you've got to start doing it now. It is 5-2, very early doors, but going into round 8, we'll start to reach the midpoint of this half. And with the AKs, the AWP and the M4s coming out for the CT side, it'll be matched by an AWP of Eastor, so at least they can be happy with the fact that they've had to force them down a little bit. With 4 rifles on the board for both sides.
At least they've got the couple of AKs to work with for Endpoint. Utility coming out early. One thing I certainly realised from Movistar Riders is, I mean, we've seen it in this round, but a lack of Ivy presence for the most part, and this could be the reason why. The 1v1 trade coming out, it does give the advantage for the T side to get that control. Robin and Sandwich, what can he find with this? What a flick coming out onto Alex, and he knows there's a player in towards the Olaf position as well. Eastor is trying to bring this back. 2 versus 2, 3 kills in the round for him. Thomas pushing through the Ivy smoke. And a couple of crazy individuals stepping up from Endpoint. That shot from Robin was just disgusting.
Absolutely, like a transfer around. If he got it itself and transferred it, if he got the first pick on top of the train and transferred it down, that would have been the only way you could have made it better. In the end, however, the saviour of the round is Thomas there with his flank out from the Ivy position as the AWP almost brought it back with 3 simple kills. I mean, he got as far as 2 before he started getting picked out. And now Movistar are down on their own base 6. Just Deagles in for 3, 2P, 250s as well. Limited amount of utility. They will make their way out. T-Con very early on. The smoke's up. The flashbang's a little bit mistimed, and Robin's allowed to take down those 2 quick picks. Thomas is first to fall, though, so there's a little bit of damage sustained, but not much in the grand scale of things. Endpoint will keep 4 players alive, and it'll be 7-2 on the board, approaching the half victory here for Endpoint. And, you know, I mean, I'm not as shocked in this one as I was about the Tenerife Titans taking their half victory above, like, you know, the Heretics earlier, because this is CT side of Train. And I feel like Endpoint have been just firing on all cylinders in that first map. They're certainly, you know, swinging in off the back of that momentum.
Absolutely, and they need to make sure they're getting off to a good CT start. They need to get at least 9 or 10 rounds if they want any chance of being able to think that this could be a 2-0. Maybe even try to press for an 11th. But that's all in the future. In the present, it's going to be crucial. The AWP. Oh, and he even finds the second kill. That's the bomb dropped as well. That's the info. And straight away, there's 2 players now at the B bomb site for the CTs.
Crucial just knows what to do, and he's gained so much. As you mentioned, those 2 picks, a 2-for-1 trade, they do lose the AWP, but they're gaining info on where that bomb is. And they rotate a second player out here because they suspect the Movistar are going to go back to the B bomb site. Eastor is watching Summit and trying to check out Connector. He won't see either CT that are hiding in these rough positions. Alex, meanwhile, pops out a pop dog and gets Thomas to a 3-on-3 scenario. That forces a rotation back from Robin. This might still be up in the air for the actual site commitment. I mean, the bomb is making its way down from ramp, so it might not be as far gone as you might think. Surreal's forced back passive. He may have spotted out one. He may get the info onto where the bomb's going down. And the default plant Eastor will get caught off by Surreal as he picked out behind the yellow train. Nade on towards the bomb site. Mopos is quickly out of dodge though. Back behind Oil. He's going to wait for CTs to make their way up. He'll know there's a player top of that train. Incendiary to try to force him out, but again, he's nowhere to be seen. No info being given up by the Movistar Riders. They've got to try and force the issue. Going for a while. Pete Mopos gets that kill. Hides back in a passive flashes over. Robin forces it out. Seeing Alex's Mighty Max, and so well timed the coordinated there for Endpoint on the retake. Yes, they lose 3 players, but they gain 8 rounds. Beautiful stuff from the CT side.
Well, okay. That was a really strong retake coming out from Endpoint. And the Riders, they look to be in such a great position. We saw Alex being able to get a pick out from SL. He tries to sell the fake. They rotate the second player up to the A bomb site. But unfortunately, Estor was creeping forward around that summit position, just trying to see if he could find some sort of opening. And the Riders don't find anything from it. And the retake is so successful. Endpoint up 8-2 with a 1-map advantage in the series. A pause to come out. Now, we will see a reinvestment to come down from the Spaniards. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, from what we saw of the momentum of the second half of map 1, it's carrying over, Jay. It's continuing going on to Train.
Oh, it really is. And I kind of feel like I was kind of expecting this to a certain extent, which is why I'm sort of like surprised to it. Again, I'm not too shocked, but you know, I would have thought that Movistar would have at least been up to about 5 rounds at this point.
Yeah.
Not to be. M4's out, AWP Surreal in the midst of the smoke, and Lowell, he had no info, but that's just like tragedy from a spec perspective. Sprayed to 19 HP, no idea the man was there. Meanwhile, Lowell's going to get taken down to 40 HP alongside Alex on 87 from utility alone from Endpoint. No risks taken, nothing lost. And the T's are forced back to go for the 2-pronged attack. They have got Ivy control, which is pretty aggressive in their own right. This is very workable for the T's.
And Crucial's AWPing out at 8. He could certainly have some impact, especially with the split on the cards out through Ivy and T-Con. Movistar just seeing if they can find an opening. Mighty Max is in the sandwich position. First man to get taken down.
Good bait to see the shoulder nade up onto the bomb site will do damage to Crucial. Nothing crucial. Mopos, what are you doing? You can't afford to make mistakes like that in this case, but he does turn it around, take out Thomas up in heaven. Crucial spotted towards the stopper position, and now it's a 2 versus 4, making it 1 as Robin falls. And fortunately, Movistar Riders do recover off the back of that, but still's going to be a bit miffed at that prospect, because that is not a kill that should have been sustained.
Well, that was something. And unfortunately for the Riders, it is a player going down, in the fact that if that didn't happen, it probably would have been all 5 players staying alive. Now for Endpoint, that was quite a poor hold coming out to the A bomb site, and I think it came down to the splits. One of the first times that we've seen sort of the Ivy presence being able to reconnect with the T-Con attack, and what happened there is Endpoint, they weren't really sure where to point their attention. Do they try and fight through SL, through T-Con, through Ivy? And the crossfires being set from the entries from the Riders just seemed too strong, and Endpoint did not have an answer for it. It will be a 3rd round for the T's. But the bind will come back. It's not there will be one. Yeah, I was going to say there's going to be one player that's going to be on a bit of a rough bind. It's going to be Mighty Max. That's going to be forced up on a scout jet.
Yeah, single AWP for Crucial. So double sniper, but that's not going to be, you know, it's not like it'll be the most effective thing in the world. Like, you know, if you had the double AWPs, I would certainly take my hats off to Endpoint. I mean, we talked about how they don't use the double AWPs as often as you probably should on train. Obviously, that damage could come to hurt them as Movistar do get that first, but the damage being done by Thomas, forcing Steel to make a mistake. He falls off the heaven area and falls to his death to a 4-on-3. Look at Thomas continuing to peek up, taking Alex, not seeing the AWP. Max will take that challenge. Now the AWP coming in from Com will try to support it. They will lose Mighty Max, but Mopos is falling in trade and doubled up by Thomas. 3 kills for him. Endpoint, another great defensive held out. That is brilliant stuff from the CT side.
And they're running the double AWP. I'm so glad they're running the double AWP. I mean, they didn't really need to run it so far on train, considering they had, what, an 8-2 lead at one point. But the fact is that there was an opportunity there where they can pick up the second AWP. They don't have to reinvest it, so it's not going to be any damage to the economy. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to afford it anyway. But the fact is that an opportunity has arisen where Mighty Max is going to be playing the AWP out on the A bomb site, and Crucial is going to be AWPing over at B. One of the first times that we've seen at Endpoint, especially in this map, being able to pick up the double AWPs, but something that is a rarity for this UK lineup.
We want to see more of a rarity right here. This is the 3rd tactical pause from Movistar Riders. I mean, we're talking about, you know, how you know, teams at this level don't use all their tactical pauses, and I mean, you want stark contrast by comparison. You know, Endpoint are swamping Movistar Riders in a way that I don't think we really saw on the likes of Virgo. Even though they had pretty decent scorelines, I don't think they were ever this far gone. And it's like, in the stark contrast, Movistar are forced to use all 3 in their first half. They've got 1 more left that they could potentially drop. But when do they use it? Do they use it after this half? Do they use it now? If they lose this next round? If they go into another full buy? Like, you know, like, what do you do if your Movistar Riders using so much, so little, and getting so little out of it? They do find those first 2 picks in towards Ivy, though. A wall bang against his own teammate, but Mighty Max and Crucial being down as a 5-on-3 now for the T side.
And they've got a lurker out at B as well. There's just no way that the Riders can lose this round, honestly. And still opening up Thomas as well, being able to follow up with a 2nd kill, and this was just easy pickings. And I'll tell you what, I don't get that from Endpoint. They're running a double AWP setup out from Ivy. They've pushed Mighty Max aggressive around the server box, and then Crucial to try and establish a crossfire. But Estor, I mean, those were some of the easiest peaks of his life. He finds 2 really easy picks out from Ivy. They take down the double AWP setup, and then they just crunch into the outer bomb site. We see Steel finding 2 big kills around the bomb site. And Robin, last one left to save, and for Endpoint, I mean, the double AWPs, maybe you can kind of understand why they don't run it. They had no impact whatsoever.
The 4th round for Movistar coming up. Can they make another 9-6 half happen? In this case, it would be Movistar Riders being on the back foot compared to Endpoint. Obviously, it was Endpoint, the ones that were down 9-6 at the turn of the first half. And given the current situation of the economy, they might have to force buy in both rounds. I mean, they are on double eco status. It means the Scouts will be joined by 2 M4s and a Deagle, so it's not the worst buy in the world, but definitely not the best. There's the CTs. By the way, it's a very fast player. They're going to rush straight outside with a half execution. I think they might just do. Yeah, Robin back of the train, but they do stall their way out. They let one player get between the blue and green cross. Over in Olof position is where they should be spotted. The scout out from Max does get that first pick. Spot out a second, but is unable to deal with the AWP of Eastor.
And eventually it's a stack to come out for the B bomb site from Endpoint. And this retake's certainly going to be difficult. I say that, but the teams are actually really passive at the moment, considering the position that they're in. I'm surprised that they haven't pressed up early enough, and I think the reason for that is they want Steel to get some information. They're going to bring this bomb over to the B bomb site. There's no way they go commit to A unless Steel somehow goes down.
Robin there with a kill on Alex, 4-on-3 situation. Deagle back from Surreal will try and check out the position. A good shot in the back of the bomb train. Now it's 2 players left standing. Endpoint could still pull this off, but they do find a trade back and they are committing to the B bomb site. They don't know where this bomb is just yet on the CT force. They will know in a moment's time. As Lowell supports Eastor, that bomb plant should be secured, but the M4s are now moving in particular, Robin seeing the foot of Eastor, knowing where he is, and spraying him down. It's all left to Lowell now, up in upper. No utility, no Molotov he can put down on the bomb to try and deny it. A smoke will come up from Robin as he tries to hold his own here and go for the 5-second defuse. Crucial's going to back him up, looking for Lowell, spray through, takes him down. It's easy as that. Endpoint know how to deal with that situation. And what a round again. Every time you think you want to count them out, Endpoint just find a way to turn some of the worst of setups, the worst of situations back to their favor.
And I tell you what, Endpoint, they've certainly got a potential of being able to win 11 rounds on CT, and they really needed a good start in train, because their T side can sometimes be very rough indeed. And psychologically, they're in a great place at the moment. A couple of AKs to work with in round number 15. And Movistar Riders on their own map pick really haven't got anything going for them. Mighty Max getting a bit of early info onto the AWP of Estor. And Thomas in back red.
Moving close, Mighty Max. Spread out by Mopos, takes him down. 5-on-4 situation as Thomas is back behind blue. Might have to worry about Alex to the right-hand side. Does take him out with a secondary pick on the trade, but he's still able to trade it right back. Robin's now known up in the heaven area. Nade on towards E-Box. It doesn't land anywhere close to a T-side member. He still gets aggressive, takes out the site player in Crucial. Looks on towards Robin, trying to tap his head off his shoulders. Will do some damage, and eventually find the spray against him, so it's all left to Surreal. A 1 versus 3 clutch for the man. If he can find this, then I'll certainly be impressed, but flash and a HE, defuse kit on him, sure, but that HP advantage is going to be too much to handle, I feel like.
Well, this should be a 5th round for the Riders. Surreal coming out through the con face, and still going to peek out at the right time. So 5 rounds for the Riders, and I tell you what, they can be, I wouldn't say pleased, but at least happy that it didn't spiral any more out of control than where it was.
Yeah, I guess you could be happy with that. I mean, 11-4 at the half. At that point, I would have said that this is going to be a serious opportunity for Endpoint to 2-0. I still think the 2-0 is on, actually. Like, you know, we counted it out very early on in this series. We were just like, there's no way they're going to win Train. But that being said, though, I still feel there's potential that Endpoint might bottle it on this second half. Again, I said it earlier on the map, I'm not a fan of Endpoint's T side. I've seen some very suspect sort of stuff coming out from them. It's just that I can't put all my eggs in that basket. I can't, you know, there's a part of me that's just like, you know what, I should be very, very careful about, you know, like putting my bets on a team like this, because, again, that T side, it can be shocking.
It certainly can be. It can be a bit reckless and a bit uncoordinated, to say the least. And you can kind of understand it. Like, again, it's a map that is not a strong one for Endpoint, but at least they've been able to get off to a good start. And honestly, it comes down, maybe not so much the first pistol round, but the first gun round for me in this second half is really where we start to see which way this map is going to turn out. We're having a look at the pistols. We're already seeing a bit of utility being upgraded for both Steel and Mopos. Mighty Max as well, going for a little bit of utility as well. Double flash and a smoke to work with, and it's just going to be Kevlar for the rest of them for Endpoint.
And Fuse Kit, obviously, in for Steel. An Endpoint with this T-side half. Will they be able to do something with it? Or will they fall to pieces? It's out to the Brown Halls to kick things off. Surreal, of course, backing up Crucial to begin. Nades at the ready for the likes of Mopos here. It's a minute and 32 the clock, and it looks like they're going to go quickly out from the ramp position. They're all stacking up. They're just waiting for the flashbangs and the smokes to come in. Out towards Con. Flashes go over, and here they go. Out of the gate. Nice nade to respond to it from the T-side forces. They do catch them off, getting caught up on their own feet, but Crucial still gets that pick. Still looks for a steal in the backlines, and tags him at 13 HP. The plant can be secure, but Lowell Alex coming in with headshots against Surreal, and Thomas will turn it back to the man advantage over the CT forces. Still playing forward on the part of Steel. And Crucial ready in the flank position here in Connector, going to distract one. Here comes Lowell going down. Mighty Matt's got to try and find Steel next as he goes falling. Alex desperately needs to get Crucial down. He's the last man standing as Eastor also falls. And he makes his way in, tapped up by the Glocker. Mighty Max just going to get him forced away. The fuse kit obviously on his pouch. He's got to find these picks pretty quick. He gets that head, but now he's got to stick the full 5 seconds, and he can't afford to fake this one. He fakes it once. Robin takes him out. It'll be 11 for Endpoint.
Oh my goodness, what a pistol round coming out from Endpoint. Massive round as well from Mighty Max. I mean, an in-game leader in the European scene, which has not really ever been known for his massive fragging abilities. There's been a lot of negative comments about the fragging abilities from Mighty Max in terms of his career. But certainly in that pistol round, he's able to deliver to a fantastic extent. And allows Endpoint to continue their lead. 11-5, things are certainly looking very strong at the moment. It is going to be the force buy, though, from the Riders. And I'll tell you what, this could be a big success for Endpoint, especially if they can win out against this force buy.
Thomas. Focus fire again to open up the windows to start things off. Nothing major coming out from the Endpoint side. I mean, they're putting out a little bit of utility over towards what looks to be the Ivy position. The Scout of Laurel tags up Surreal to start. Smokes down. Try and get a bit of cover as again they look to go towards this B bomb site. Mopaz will catch off one. It's going to be low as anything as Crucial and Robin do chime in and get those picks apart from them. The bomb plant will be secured here. Once again on default. 4-on-3 situation. Movistar Riders have a task ahead of them if they want to make this happen. I just think that the weaponry is just not quite there for them at the moment. I'm going to push slightly forward to this one still. Right up close, actually. They have no idea he's here. He can find himself 2 good headshots. He gets 1 damage onto the second. The nade finishes off Robin. And have they got enough breathing room to make this work out here at this moment in time? It's a Scout out, good shot towards Surreal, looking on the top. He actually forces Mighty Max to drop in. 3 points of HP. The defuse being stopped by Alex. 4 seconds, 1 second, no seconds. He's got it! I can't believe that. Max forced away. And that will give Movistar Riders a 6th.
Oh my goodness, that's so hard to watch. The fact that it's only Steel that's really going for it, and as soon as he finds impact, they get that HE kill as well. They go, you know what, we can go for this. And the 10-second defuse coming out from Movistar Riders and Endpoint. They have to force buy this, but I tell you what, they should have been able to convert that last round, and that's going to be so disappointing for them, especially if it allows a comeback to come through from the Riders.
Couldn't steal a bigger round if you tried. Movistar. A big opportunity now presenting them to themselves here. They need to try and shut down Endpoint. They cannot allow them to get any further on with this. AK's in on 2. Of course, the UMP, the MAC-10 and the Deagle out for Max, Thomas and Crucial respectively. There's 2 SMGs for Steel and Mopaz. And the M4s of Alex and Lowell are backed up by the Scout of Eastor. Back here to the B bomb site. You can see where he's watching out from the upper position. Very passive from Endpoint, though, once again, not going explosive until the very last few seconds of the round. And so they want to lean towards the A bomb site this time with their smokes being set up here. They need to gain some pop dog control from Surreal. Outside of that, the T-Con presence is the main focus for the Endpoint side.
The MP9 is up close for Steel. Molotov going out to the sandwich position. Thomas is going to go down, but it is the quick trade coming out from Crucial. Lowell, though, is incredibly low. And I tell you what, these trade frags are turning out to be relatively successful so far, especially with the com player going down. Surreal needs to be able to follow up again, but it's actually going to be the IGL Mighty Max. And it's all down to Estor. Does able to find a pick in this 1 versus 3, but he can't find any more. And I tell you what, Jay, considering the fact that the Riders won that force buy, then lost the next, their economy is in an even worse point of view. And this is now 12-6. This is the opportunity. If Endpoint can beat this eco, if Endpoint can come up on tops, they could go up 14 rounds.
Absolutely.
And they're smelling victory at that point.
Absolutely. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things about, taking a force buy risk is that it's not just a risk in terms of the next round where you couldn't have enough money to go for a buy-up. It's also about taking a force buy and winning that than losing another one. That could be even worse in certain cases, as you mentioned. We're already seeing Surreal get 2 picks. Doing a bit of damage to Thomas. Doesn't get the credit with the kill, though. That goes to Moppos instead. With 2 kills on the Brown Halls, that opens up B bomb site. They had no one defending it for about 6 seconds or so. And now the T-side forces will wrap back over to this T-con entrance. Again, not going into the site entrances until like the last minute or so. They might have to deal with the likes of Lowell here. He's pretty aggressive, but other than that, they should be in with a decent hit.
The execution going out to the outer bomb site. And back green smoke as well. Robin finding out the opening, and that's actually going to force Alex behind the smoke. So far, though, the pistol's doing a little bit of damage. Steels end up finding 2 kills. This is a 2 versus 2, and it's all down to Alex. But look how low he is, Jay. Just 3 points of health.
He is on a flank, though. Don't count him out of this just yet here. If no one checks his position, Surreal will go up. Yeah, they're going to go B. They know where Alex was. They saw him coming out from the of the T-con Ivy area, I should say. So they know that he's going to be there roughly in that sort of area of the map. So, don't give him the chance to rotate towards the B bomb site. Maybe even tempt him just to, leave that AK that was dropped out of T-con. Save that. And then call it a 13th for Endpoint, which would work well for Endpoint, as you mentioned. 14 rounds could be on the table for this T-side. The AK, of course, from Alex, best thing to save at this stage. There's just no way he's going to make this retake work.
And I'll tell you what, if Endpoint are able to get the 2-0 tonight, I don't want to say it's an upset between these 2 teams, but it would be a surprise to see that we didn't even go to a 3rd map. And looking at the current scoreline and looking at the impact at the moment that we're seeing from Endpoint, I mean, Lowell, a member that I suppose we haven't really spoken about too much in this best-of-3 series, the international player, or I should say the Spaniard that's played on so many international lineups, really was so quiet in the stages of Vertigo. And now going on to train, only 6 kills, the only member in the server to not have double digits in the kill count, Jay.
In general, the number averages are just so low for Movistar riders that it looks like a concerning sort of board, I feel like. Needs something massive to come out of this one. If they get this eco victory, that'd be the most perfect thing in the world. I doubt they will. We'll at least have that little bit of breathing room on the 14th, so they're not quite out of position. They're not quite going to fall down to pieces. But they will be close, and already. The Endpoint picking off Alex, taking that AK out of play, most importantly.
And they just need to make sure that Estor doesn't pick it up. That's the big thing. And I tell you what, he picks it up, but he goes down relatively quickly. Robin doing so much work out from Ivy, and he's just trying to sell a bit of a fake at the moment because they've already taken complete B control. Robin is just absolutely annihilating the A-bomb site players. 4 kills for him in the end. 14-6. This is the last chance, the absolute last chance that Movistar riders can have to allow this comeback to come through.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say to this? Like, we looked at it. We looked at this map and we were like, look, there's no way that Endpoint are going to win this. Like, they might get close, but they won't win it. Like, 16-10 at best. But now they're 14-6 up, and as you say, last chance for Movistar riders. You can already see Surreal getting aggressive, getting that pick, getting right back out of dodge there. Just gonna concede his HP, but take a kill for his trouble, and put Endpoint on the right track to map and match point.
Man, this just looks to be an AXE to come out from Endpoint. This is a great opening for them. Surreal drops down SL, he finds the opening pick. Now Lowell has to go into that position. And they're rotating a second player off to the B bomb site for the CT. So at the moment for Endpoint, there's only 2 defenders here at A. And even the utility, the slight damage that is being done, it helps once the execution comes through. "60 seconds on the clock. Endpoint
making their way up to Ivy. Alex will try to force them back a little bit. We'll have his back turn. Mighty Max disappears through that smoke and tries to get back over to the A2 entrance. Alex will catch off Robin and catch off that bomb, most importantly. His back is turned to Mighty Max. I don't know if they saw it, but they're not concentrating on the Ivy position. Mighty Max will be allowed a kill for his trouble now. He needs a bit more support. Some 5 HP, and Eastalk can shut him down immediately. Lowell comes in with a good kill on Thomas. Out of T-Con. Looking in towards Pop Dog. Gets a second on Surreal, so it's all left to Crucial. 1 versus 3. The bare HP has hurt the Endpoint side, but 20 seconds and Crucial has found himself a good kill. Needs 2 more though, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Twiggy might secure a bomb plant, but Mopos is there to try and make quick work of that.
And he's checking out the con face. He's planning right in front of Mopos, unfortunately, so it will be the Riders to claim their 7th. And honestly, for Endpoint, things started off relatively well. They had a 5-on-4, they had a good advantage to work with, but the fact of the matter is it just, between the T-Con and the Ivy presence, there really wasn't a crossfire being established. And especially when Robin goes down and they show the bomb, that round's pretty much all over from there. There's so much info up for the CTs. But Endpoint, they are coming back with a full investment.
AK's out, as you would expect. Crucial getting tagged up very early on by the nades, and the Molotovs out here towards T-Con. Steel could be on for a decent kill, and he knows where he's going to hide in the corner. Movistar Riders picking up the pace, picking up the kill, and picking up the chance in round 7.5. No response shots back from the T side, and they only lost a little bit. I think Crucial had an SMG at the start of this round. Now Mopos looking on the Thomas, will do some damage. Surreal gets his kill on Eastalk. Mopos does trade it back. Thomas has sustained 24 points of HP left for him. And Mopos trying to get out of dodge as Thomas continues to back around that corner, find that kill in the end to a 3-on-3. And Robin gets lulled to a 3-on-2. Alex should trade this, so we'll be at evens for the retake. The nade up against Mighty Max might do a bit of damage, but he's going to be the main anchor on this post plant. Robin up in heaven. He's got a Molotov. He can stall for time. Mighty Max will go down, so now it's all left to Robin to do as much as he can. There's no smoke either for the CT, so they'll tap it once. The Molotov should respond right now, and the nade also to follow suit. Will that land on Alex? No, it will just do damage for him. They now know where Robin is. How is he going to peek against it? Alex will get aggressive, and Robin takes him down. It's 1-on-1, still moving up, and he's going to face against 1. It's 1 versus 1 still. Robin, given the round.
What are they doing? What are they doing for the Riders? Why are they just peeking 1 by 1? At least have someone stick the kit and try and hold the crossfire. I don't get that. And Endpoint, they're gifted such an easy clutch for Robin. Oh, 15-7. This is map and series point up for the UK core. And you just look at the buy and you think, this could be it, Jay. This could be the round that they find their 16th.
I mean, just how do you win on this kind of force buy here, Dweg? Like,
you don't.
I feel like you're stolen that off of me. Alex immediately out of the play, like, just like that, easy as that. An Endpoint on match point, looking to knock Movistar Riders out of the upper bracket of this tournament and leave their chances of going to the Cologne play-ins basically in ruin at this stage. I mean, just how do you do it? How on earth do you do this?
The thing is, as well, they're so passive as well. They're just waiting for the CTs to over-aggress, and Movistar Riders, they're rotating off a B. They're rotating off of A. They think it's a B play.
Lowell's going to see some information out towards the T-Con area, but Robin's going to shut him down immediately. Only 2 left. Eastalk back at the site. The scope in, we'll spot out 1 towards T-Con. Gonna have to call for backup here on Mopos. And he'll get 1 good kill at least against Robin. He can't get the wallbang against the player underneath the train though, and he's running out of time at this point. He does get out of the shot on Thomas as well, so that's not even that bad, but the rifle player is still sitting. Him and Mopos still have a lot of work to do. Mopos will go down and pop. And Eastalk still doing damage, can't get those headshots. He does get another kill, but walks right into the hands of Crucial, who will close it out for Endpoint. 16-7 on their own map pick as well, Dweg.